Now, this is what I call the politics of improvisation. That's the same thing I'm seeing. There's improvisation going on. In football, even substitutes must have been in the training camp. You don't just say, is there any footballer in the crowd? Come and wear this shirt. The people who sit on the substitutes bench must be people who are mentally prepared. As I said, the NRA had weakened UPC. The generals in the government army took advantage and overthrew the government. They could not sustain it. Eventually, the real torchbearers of the people's cause came to the fore to take charge of the change they had precipitated. That's why I'm telling Uganda, it's a matter of time. Sometimes you can be anointed, but you don't even assume the position immediately. I think David was anointed, but for 17 years he was running for his life. Can you imagine? You are with the anointing, but you can't access the throne because of forces. Even Uganda has so many forces right now. But we must not fear them, because this country is going to change, whether anybody likes it or not. I see things differently, and I'm not complaining, because unlike others, me, I don't have any sense of entitlement. But I believe in destiny. So today, I want to say that no one has the final word. Even God, by the way, still has something to say about this speakership. And he's going to speak. And God can whisper into important ears the truth. And he's going to do it. God still has a statement to make about this. I told you this before, because you people were looking like those armies that faced Goliath. I even told you about David and Goliath that day here. But you are not listening, because you are terrified. You are looking with fear. And I defined for you what fear is. That fear means false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. Haven't you proved that it is now right? All the money was actually false evidence. All these material things were false evidence. All the endorsements were false evidence appearing real. But for you, you were thinking that that is the reality. But it was only appearing to be the reality. I have preached from this podium. Sometimes I feel like a pastor. But Ugandans don't listen. What is truly mine will come to me in due course. My destiny will unfold. Because destiny indicates a destination, and it is a matter of time. And what is truly mine will be that place which is the best for me. To our allies in the NRM, the speakership is not just a matter for the NRM, it's not just a matter for the members elected to the 12th Parliament, it's a matter for all citizens. Since the MPs represent the citizens, they cannot ignore the public sentiment. I'm calling upon all Ugandans from now onwards, call your member of parliament and tell them to vote for Ma. If not, wait for them in 2031 and remind them. What my candidature offers is a sharp contrast to the false dichotomy that members of opposing parties are disjoint sex. Instead, my candidature offers a choice for us to move forward together as partners to achieve the promise of a new Uganda, united, free, peaceful, and prosperous. To my friends in the NRM and to President Museveni, let us reclaim the spirit of 1986. Because at this point, we cannot afford to improvise. Why do I speak of the spirit of 1986? In 1986, the NRM and the DP were in a partnership. That partnership lasted for 10 years. That partnership was not accidental. After all, the party that had been cheated was DP. It was not UPM. The UPM did not have votes to steal. They even only got one member of parliament. Today we are being laughed at that we have 6 members of parliament. Please read your history also. The majority of those who died in the war that brought the NRM into power were DPs. Those skulls and bones in Luero are DPs. Sometimes I'm shocked by how recklessly the DP members talk. Because they're only looking at Mereya Lero. I see them on TV. Mao yafuna nzesafuna. Am I the one who gives the position? Mao yagabe before. If I were the one appointing ministers, you would blame me. But instead of thanking me for even keeping the door open, your only problem is okufuna mo. We have seen so many people who have kufuna mo. Even in a minister, there are people who went and they kufuna. You can even kufuna from a witch doctor. You can kufuna from it. But it is not about kufuna. Others are saying, all that Mao is doing is negotiating for a position. That is not my intention. I don't think I would take all the risk I've taken. Actually, the best way to negotiate for a position would have been to be one of the endorsers. And I would have been the chief endorser. And this story would have been different if I had become an endorser. Do you think I didn't have a choice to be an endorser? I had a choice to be a chief endorser. And probably I would now be negotiating the next deal. But I stuck my neck out. We cannot choose leaders through improvisation. Fortunately, these few weeks we have seen a lot. We have now realized that actually maturity does not come with age. I've seen old people acting like adolescents. Even kindergarten kids have shown more understanding of issues. But because of shamelessness, they are now trying to explain. If you have made a wrong decision, first of all, admit that you are wrong. Quickly. And then preferably first keep quiet. I saw the endorsers, the way they flocked to Mukono the other day, hugging everyone that was there. And I'm sure they have now blocked the other number now. I'm a politician, but even me, I'm shocked. That's why I said we have now realized that maturity does not come with age. When I was last here, I told you that we had already won the spiritual war. In other words, just as David faced Goliath, Goliath was already dead in the spirit. Even the former speaker was already defeated in the spirit by the time I announced. The spirit had already fallen. What we saw falling the other day by way of the letter of withdrawal was merely the body following the spirit. The spirit was long dead. Because we believe in prayer. And I've said God still has something to say about this. And you people are going to be shocked. I'm going to come back here next week because the election is on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm going to come here. Unfortunately, I won't be wearing that horse hair. Those are going to be among the first changes of decolonization. It's a very hot country. We're in the tropics. Even in Britain, they no longer wear it. I think the last person, it was this lady Boothroyd, who abandoned it. They don't wear it now. So, put in your calendar, Mao press conference on Tuesday as Speaker of Parliament. This has to happen so that you people can know that this is about you. So I came this morning to reiterate my resolve to continue my efforts to persuade the country and the members of the Parliament that of all those that have expressed their interest and those being interested in the position of Speaker, I am the one most suitable for such a time as this. I'm not in the business of a two-term Speaker. For me, I'm for this time, for such a time as this. So we are simply saying this time now. This time. Secondly, this press conference is also intended to declare that I intend to continue engaging the NRM in order that my candidature is considered alongside any other candidates of those MPs who are members of NRM. On the basis of the cooperation we have. Remember, in the first 5 minutes of the President's inaugural address at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, he praised the Democratic Party alongside the Uganda People's Congress for being a positive force in uniting our country. What President Museveni and I are doing, others want to scatter. Tuzimba bazimba. Tukunganya boba sasanya. I know the role of the Speaker. I don't have to repeat that. I know what it is like to moderate debate. I've been an advocate since 1994. Now 32 years on the role of advocates. So, what is the thinking behind my insistence that the NRM has a lot to gain by rallying behind me? Because I understand the challenges. I don't know how many of you have read President Museveni's book, What is Africa's Problem? Today I ask, what is Uganda's problem? Okay, we can say corruption, poverty, and so on. The candidate being interested in the position of Speaker and I are answers to different questions. We used to have a priest in Makerere who told us of the time he went to America and he found people wearing t-shirts on which the following words were written: Jesus is the answer. Then he asked, what is the question? So, if you say Mao is the answer to the crisis in Parliament, what is the question? Remember, I'm currently the chairman of IPOD, which I believe in. IPOD is the body which brings together members of all the parties to carry out dialogue on how to solve the problems of Uganda. Later, I will explain in very serious terms the thinking. I have been insulted more than anyone else for preaching unity across parties. Every day I've been insulted for serving as a minister. Now those who have been insulting me are lobbying to be ministers. Even members of DP, the DP members who held the press conference and even broke my portrait in Parliament, they are the ones who accompanied Honorable Nsibambi to State House. When the time for photos came, they ran away. Why do you do something you don't believe in? What is the difference between me who goes openly and you who is in hiding? In fact, you are more of a thug